Hello, welcome to EST Comics. Now this is a bit of a different type of video since usually I'm just talking about comics, but this time we're going step by step on how I found out an internet mystery, with the help of some new friends. Also, just off the bat, I wanted to say that this is a new deal for me, so I'm going to be trying my best, but of course, also take note that this is likely going to be a bit of a rougher video, since unlike usual, there's not much of a script to go off of. Therefore, there's a lot more organic talking. Now this video circles around this comic book panel of gold rain falling on a blonde woman, which you'll be able to find on the internet all around, as it often being presented as an out-of-context comic book panel, although it's also been presented as a meme. However, nowhere could I actually find the comic it came from or the context. Now, the obvious reason why it's used is the implications of a golden shower, with there being gold rain. A golden shower is a subculture of kink that is a pleasure of being peed on. Not kink shaming, but doesn't that sting? Actually, I don't need to know. I don't need to know. Now, of course, the context was likely a lot more innocent, but nowhere on the internet could I actually find the real context or the comic it came from. Therefore, I went hunting. Now, while I had seen this panel before, the most recent time I came across it was on an Instagram page called Comics Out of Context, who I'll link down below since he was very helpful. On the post itself, he didn't actually include the issue or the context, which, despite his name, is pretty unusual for him. So I DM'd him asking about the context. He explained he didn't know and as to why he didn't include it. We started to brainstorm as to who it could be or where it could come from. My guess, it looked very similar to Supergirl in the 60s, while he proposed it could be Power Girl from a later era. Either way, from panel appearance, it's pretty clear that this panel is likely an older comic from 40s to 1980s, with the art style. Although even the 80s does kind of feel like a bit of a stretch. There are a few 80s comics that do have this type of artwork, but there's also a lot that don't. Now from here, I would go through some old posts including this panel. It was used in 2019 quite a bit on Twitter as a meme to mock Trump's own pee kink. Not to get political, but what the fuck? Also, one of the first times I've ever swore on my channel. This video is already going to get me in trouble, might as well not censor myself. Afterwards, I found a now deleted Reddit post that seemed to have been about this panel, or maybe a different golden shower panel. A commenter claimed that it was from a comic series known as Marshal Law. Marshal Law is a series from 1987 to 1989, which right away was a dead giveaway that this wasn't the origin. But I read it anyway, or more like I skimmed through it, even though I knew from page 1 this was wrong by the drastic art differences. I still tried. It wasn't there, but after reading it, I think the Reddit post was actually about a different comic panel in this series that was an actual golden shower, not gold rain. Also, this series had most certainly traumatized me. There is so much in it that is just... It's The Boys on steroids. Actually, that's a wild claim. I think The Boys comics is worse than this one. Then I found something else, a thread on Comic Vine from 16 years ago, called The Official Thread of Randomness, which is the oldest place on the internet I could find this panel on. Although there was a watermark, showing it was a comic scan, so the person who posted this ad actually did it himself. But later posts do not include the scan of the watermark. Not sure if someone else found the comic and posted it themselves without the watermark, or maybe someone somehow removed the watermark from this post and posted that later on. I'm not the only one that came to this conclusion. Also on Comic Vine, another user from a few years ago was asking the same question, but didn't get the answer. Now, the original poster went by the user AceWasp23, who I did attempt to contact for the answer. However, I noticed he had been active for 14 years, which meant he likely wouldn't get back to me. I did manage to find some social media under the same name, and a name that came with it, which led me to his son who I had mistaken for his father, since they share the same name. He told me that his dad had sadly passed away, but he would try his best to try to help me find the answer. I made sure to ask permission first if it was okay for me to include this part in my investigation for my video, and he said it was okay. His son told me that he would go through his dad's old stuff, and if he found anything, he would get back to me. I tried back on my end, and the first clue I had was the fact that this panel was posted by his dad with 2 others, both from Golden Age Wonder Woman comics, and I assumed that meant this one was also from those comics. So I checked out a couple Golden Age Wonder Woman comics, mainly the ones I haven't read yet, since a few months ago I was on a kick reading her old stories, where I never saw this panel, so the process of elimination made it easier. But I still couldn't find it. But then I found something. When I click on the photo, it takes me to a link of where it has been saved, and at the top, for a flashing second, it says Action 337. Now I thought this could have just been a programming action, but it was a clue. So I thought that maybe Action 337 meant Action Comics issue 337. I tracked down the issue by means I'm not disclosing, with the issue being from 1966, and I don't have money, so I had to yo-ho it. Okay, I pirated it. I pirate a lot of my comics. I'm a college student who eats rice and corn for days straight. Also, I'm going to college for law, and I'm currently breaking it and admitting it on the internet. I was right. This comic's backup story is about Supergirl crash landing onto an alien planet with a green sun called Lumal, with a dangerous society structure, where she has to fight an alien species known as the Evil-Eyed People. Yes, that's their name. And their leader is called the Tax Collector. Anyways, during this we see different weather conditions of this planet, including gold rain, showing this panel, which also means I was right from the start, it was Supergirl. And there we go, I found the context of this panel. Now I'm certain I'm not the only one who's actually found this before, but I couldn't find any mention of it online, so here it is, a whole last video telling you about its origin, and the journey of finding it, which is, you know what it was, I just went over it with you. It was a lot. It was just a lot. So I hope you enjoyed the video, because this took maybe over 2 weeks to make, which I'm pretty sure is going to only be like under 10 minutes of a video. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!